Welcome to the iRacing Studios development blog. I'm here with Matt Lewis and Mike DeVault, and we're going to talk about NASCAR 26 this time. Really excited to share some news about it, and we recently had some big announcements in San Diego, right, Matt?
We did. I can't think of anything more American than bringing a NASCAR race car to the deck of an aircraft carrier and doing a big burnout. As you know, burnouts was like the top feature for NASCAR 25 and something that we just couldn't get to. And so to tie sort of the nod to that new feature coming to 26 with Kyle Larson being the cover guy and showing up and doing that big burnout, it was an awesome weekend. We also got to announce a couple of new things for the game. So cross-platform multiplayer, we've already announced. Another huge ask from the community, as you know. But also just confirming that Naval Base Coronado and the San Diego track would be in NASCAR 26 as well. It was crazy. Leading into San Diego, I think, it was about a week it had been out?
About a week. We released it in iRacing right before that. Yep.
Yeah, and even just by the time we did that burnout, there was over 500,000 miles run on that track just in the sim in that 1 week. So people are excited about it, and we kind of built on that crescendo into the whole weekend to drum up the excitement. It was pretty awesome.
So you've been making NASCAR games in particular for a long time. In terms of a sort of a marketing beat or hit, how did that rank? Burnout on an aircraft carrier?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we killed it. So ironically, GTA 6 announced their cover that same day, and all they did was like a 4-second video, and we're doing burnouts on the deck of the aircraft.
Not bad.
Right?
Not
That's
bad.
what I'm saying,
Not
man.
bad.
That's awesome.
So, Mike, you guys have been working together on games for a long time. Tell us about the history.
A very long time. Actually, this year, 2026, is our 25th year in the games industry. Most of that working on NASCAR games.
It's amazing because we're only 30-something years old.
That's true, yeah. I mean, it's the lighting that makes us look a little older. But yeah, all the way going back to our first NASCAR game was NASCAR Thunder 2002.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Who was on the cover for that one? Was that Tony Stewart?
Jeff Gordon.
Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which was kind of a bit of
Don't
contention.
remind you,
Yeah,
man.
so
Don't remind you.
Matt and I started off a little bit with like a rocky relationship. We were in the same department, and I was a Gordon fan, and he was a Dale Sr. fan. So we didn't hit it off on the right foot always. It was kind of a weekly struggle there for a while. But what made that such a passionate team, and what makes this such a passionate team, is that we're fans first. And it's super exciting to be now under the iRacing umbrella, because if anybody brings authenticity to racing and to NASCAR gaming, it's iRacing. So to be able to have iRacing backing, and to be able to use their track assets, and to be able to use their car assets, and to have a long-reaching 4, 5, 6 year plan of games. Like, we're not here to make one game and to be done. We're here to finish what we started all those years ago and really deliver something incredible for the fans.
So iRacing Studios has had a long relationship with NASCAR through iRacing product, through previous products, through products you guys have worked on. Things have changed a lot over the years. Talk a little bit about how the relationship with NASCAR has changed and I would say kind of improved and become more involved, I guess.
Yeah, I think what's unique about NASCAR as a sport, even outside of video games, is just the access, right? Like, he's worked on PGA stuff, I worked on a lot of the football stuff, but you go to a race and the access is unprecedented, right? Like, you can literally stand this close to your favorite driver in the world, and that just doesn't exist. I can't go stand on the field next to Tom Brady, right? And I think that mentality translates across the entire industry. We get unbelievable support from the drivers, from the race teams, from the partners, and that's the other thing unique about NASCAR is there's so many sort of entities that make the world go round, right? And that's why that they have this open access and a lot of sort of support from all these different avenues. And so for us, as the sport has evolved over time and been more open to these kinds of things, it's done nothing but help us. And they help with production assets inside the game. They help us with their look and feel. Like, we've literally taken a lot of what they do on the websites and in TV broadcasts and all those things and brought it into the game, which is something that Mike's working a lot on.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, to have the access to all that, really is a benefit for us, because our goal is to not just make the racing experience within the game feel as authentic as possible, but everything you do from when you boot up the game. So when you're going through the screens, you're watching the Dale Jr. Download podcast. This year we're going to have Door Bumper Clear in there as well. So a lot of the things, the touch points that NASCAR fans would have, outside of the race itself, that we're able to bring into the game. And then, like Matt said, the collaboration with NASCAR and their creative team has been awesome, so that when you fire the game up and you're navigating the UI, it's not like you're in a game silo and then there's the rest of the NASCAR branding that looks different than the game. No, this year everything is going to look like it looks in NASCAR branding, and they've just been great to work with. But again, it speaks to the collaboration that we have with the teams, with NASCAR itself, and we really wouldn't be able to do any of this without them.
It seems like it's super important for NASCAR as well, right? This is an extension of what they do, right? There's a race weekend for the fans that go to tracks, like we're here at Charlotte, which is really cool to be shooting this here, by the way. Thank you to the track for the access.
100%.
But we build that into the game, right? You want to feel like it's a true race weekend, and I don't know that you get that in other sorts of sports franchises.
I think last year we did things like the cutscenes before the race weekends and like during the race weekends. And those were all built out of us for years having gone to the track and saying, we need to put this in the game. We need like the sights and the sounds. We can't bring the smells, obviously, but if we could
maybe in a couple of years we'll have some sort of thing. The next generation consoles maybe have some
absolutely smell? Maybe, who knows. But to be able to deliver that as much as possible and to make it so that when you play the game you're getting those emotions and those feelings that you get when you're at the track was super important for us.
So Matt, a couple of weeks ago we made some announcements in San Diego, which everybody's excited about. The game's coming in September. What else can people expect in the coming months?
Yeah, we know all the comments on this video are going to be what? Where's the gameplay trailer?
Footage.
Yeah. So we have an answer next week. That's the plan. We're going to get the gameplay trailer out. And then, beyond that, we're going to launch on September 18th. That's the standard edition. Gold edition will be September 15th. So we're excited about that. And we're going to have a ton of extra content all throughout as we lead in. We're going to do some deep dives on some gameplay features and things like that. But also, that ship date lines up with sort of the start of the chase, which is another thing we've got in the game this year, a completely standalone mode centered around the chase. You go in, you set up the field that you want to compete against, and then you just run those last 10 races. So that's going to be an awesome feature as well.
And you'll be able to talk a little bit more about the difference between standard and gold as we get a little closer.
Yes.
Right?
Yep, 100%.
All right, so guys, we just talked about what people can expect to see in the coming months before release, but you're deep into development. So what are you most excited about that's coming in the game in September?
Yeah, so in NASCAR 25, everything was about building a solid foundation that we could continue to develop, subsequent games on. So this year, again, is building those elements of authenticity that we were talking about before. And one of those things that you're going to see in NASCAR 26 that we're super excited about is the dynamic track feature. So right now, when you go into a race weekend, for races that are medium length to longer length races, when you first get to the track, it's going to be in a green state, so it won't be rubbered in, and you'll be pretty much racing the fast line to find the optimal speed around the track. But as the weekend progresses and rubber gets laid down on the racetrack through the practice session that you run and then through qualifying and obviously the race itself, it'll start to open up more lines.
So it's way more than just a visual thing. It actually impacts how you drive and
absolutely. Yeah, much more than just a visual thing, and it'll open up new strategies for players in the game, and you'll have to mess around with some car setups to see like, okay, am I playing it for a longer run and waiting for the track to change a little bit. So again, these are the sorts of features that we can continue to create new games on this platform.
Matt, what are you excited about?
Yeah, I would echo a lot of the things Mike said about authenticity. We talked about burnouts being the #1 ask. We talked about cross-platform. I think both of those things are going to be a huge relief to gamers to just know that like we're listening and we're getting their asks in the game. We've got AI DNFs, these quality of life improvements, right? Which are minor asks in the grand scheme of things, but just again showing that we're listening to the community. So the AI will have DNFs. We heard a lot about road course penalties and issues with track extents. We've loosened some of those restrictions, but just generally this notion that like we are constantly improving. To what Mike said earlier, we're building a franchise here, right? We're not building a one-off product. We're building a long-term franchise, and part of that is listening to fans, engaging with them, and making sure that we're all pushing ourselves to be better.
Yeah, well, quality of life improvements are huge. They, like you said, they might sound like a small thing, but it really changes the way the game plays and the experience for the fans. So well worth the time and effort to put those in.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us on the first Dev Diary for NASCAR 26. It's great to actually be able to talk about the product now. Obviously, it's been in development for a long time, and we had to wait a little bit till we got far enough along to talk about it and start promoting it, but we're here, so really appreciate that. And to everybody watching, thanks for watching, and be sure to visit our website, NASCAR26.com, for updates. You can sign up for email updates, you can follow us on social, and stay tuned for the next.